We're going to see here how Nick, the impactful business consultant, goes about his effective interventions with his clients. And that often starts with a challenge within one part of the business. What's really interesting is you can unpack that challenge in a much more engaging and collaborative way in a much shorter space of time using big picture tools, and this is how. So Nick might land this in the place that he thinks that challenge exists, but it's more powerful immediately to give the client and the people in the room the poker chips, the symbols, and even on a digital board, take that client through a really good conversation about how that intervention is going to look. So let's work that through. Using big picture, you have access to these different lenses, which gives the conversation a real focus. You could talk about the different people and the colleagues and teams that are involved with this challenge, how it impacts the customer, what technology inhibits or enables this challenge to be addressed, what's good look like in terms of a measure that impact on the money and the money out, and the processes that are affected. That enables you to move on to this challenge and any related challenges, and you can of course flip them into opportunities, which is really good for Nick, the business consultant, because that's potentially extra work for them to help, or at least at this point demonstrate how he can help the client with those. So let's just see how the board would play out. We'd look at the different colleagues that are impacted, and remember, this is the client doing this, not you. So it's like them sharing all their useful truths that they wouldn't have done previously. They might put some connections on the board using the arrows. They would introduce the technology symbol, the money symbol. It might turn out it's a financial challenge, but actually it might be something that's not currently measured, so you would understand that better. It may need a process, so you do end up with a bit of a grouping around this specific challenge, but equally you might also find that something needs to happen in marketing and operations too, and that's really important. Nothing gets left behind. Each challenge that's identified is really important because each challenge can potentially be turned around into an opportunity. And again, that's more work potentially for Nick, and it's in the words of the client, not himself, and that's always more powerful. Moving on into why this works really well, it's because, well, it uses visuals. It's something everybody can engage with and get involved with. This is why I created it, because these were doodles in my book that everybody loved to add to. I was sat back and everybody was adding things to it, and this is the way it really works. And that's a massively powerful insight into the business, and that's why it's so powerful for you as a business consultant. It's also a lot easier for people within that business, if they're talking about a challenge, to not actually point to people and say it's you, or can you do this better. It's actually better to use a shared surface or board where you can all come together and direct those views. We find that's a lot easier to do for people. Less emotional, less subjective, much more about business outcomes and where you want to get to. I'll leave you with one trick where big picture is really powerful, and a great check at the end of an intervention conversation is you see there's a purpose at the top of the board here. You've got the customer journey running left to right as the yellow line with the customer symbol on it. And then at the center, you've got the value creation, whether that's called delivery or operations. If the challenge is in sales or marketing or management and admin and customer care, it's always worth checking in on the purpose, the impact on the customer journey, and the value at the center of the page. It's a beautiful pattern that Big Picture provides in a hugely engaging and powerful way. So that's how Big Picture works in one scenario for Nick, the business consultant. Ask us about other scenarios and we'll demonstrate those to you too. Buy some kit, learn how, and we'll see you in the community for a conversation. Take care.